Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I told you guys that I would be doing a video all about Whole30 and what it is and why I chose to do it and did I see any benefits from it. So I am going to try to just give you a little concise synopsis here of all of that. If you've not visited my channel before, my name is Kelly and I like to share about simple things, frugal living, our simple life as a family, all of that good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to address some questions up front and then I'm going to go through 5 things that I've learned through doing this process. Okay, so first of all, what is Whole30? Whole30 is simply an elimination diet. So if you are unfamiliar, an elimination diet is when you pull a certain food or food group from your diet for a certain period of time and then you reintroduce it to see if you notice any benefits, positive or negative. You notice how you feel without that food or food group in your diet, and then you notice how it feels to slowly introduce it back in. So I would kind of call Whole30 an elimination diet on steroids. And I don't remember if I came up with that or if I've seen it written somewhere. I'm not claiming for that to be an original description on my part, but you eliminate quite a few things and I'll discuss that later. There are a lot of potential benefits that are in mind whenever you start Whole30, but the main goal and what the program kind of leads their best foot forward with is that it is supposed to improve your relationship with food. So basically, you should feel in control and it's nice to know how certain foods interact with your body specifically. I should just give a little disclaimer here before I start on this. I will be talking about health and I will be talking about weight in a very freeing way. But if that topic is sensitive to you for any reason, this might be a video to skip out on and then you can catch me in the next one. So I'm going to talk about why I did it and then I'll talk about a few of the specifics of the program. So basically the reason why I did it was to identify some digestive issues that I had going on. It's not glamorous, it's not fun to talk about, but everybody deals with these things. I was having daily painful bloating, usually between the hours of maybe 3 and 9. Sometimes it was so painful that I couldn't stand up. I couldn't get up and walk to the sink just to wash my face. One particular instance that I had was at my sister's rehearsal dinner for her wedding, and it was just extremely painful. I had to take breaks between getting ready because I couldn't stand up straight for any period of time. So anything I was doing was standing hunched over with lots of pain, lots of tightness. So I did this to get to know my body better. Are there certain things that my body doesn't do well with as far as whole food groups or just items within those food groups? When I began this process, my son asked me frequently, can you have this? Can you eat this on Whole30? I would often explain to him no, because the program is very restrictive, but I would follow it up with the reasoning. I don't want him or anyone else to think I am punishing my body, that I'm not treating my body well. And I just explained to him that we are given our bodies to steward well. And I said, it is your job. If you notice something that is wrong, something that is off, it is your job to do some work yourself. Absolutely, healthcare professionals are here to help us in that journey, but I said it is your job first to figure out kind of what is going on, and I said I need to figure out what's going on with me. All right, so how did I prepare? The first thing that I did to prepare was make an appointment with my doctor. I wanted to make sure that there weren't any sort of abnormalities, anything that I was deficient in before I removed all of these things from my diet and then potentially caused further issues. Once everything came back and my doctor gave me the okay, I told my doctor that this was what I was considering. He thought it was a great idea and wanted to know, my journey, and he said, it really can't hurt anything for you specifically. So we proceeded forward. I researched and checked out some books from my local library, and this was the biggest help for me as far as recipes. If you scour the internet, there are a lot of Whole30 recipes. Some of them actually are Whole30 and some of them are Whole30-ish. So checking out some books from the library that actually were put out by the people who created Whole30 was really good for me. They had everything in there from how to make your own ketchup and mayonnaise, the mayonnaise is bad, just don't do it. And then, you know, soups, main courses, all those kinds of things. All right, a couple things that you should know before going into it. I did mention it is an elimination diet on steroids. These are the food groups that you cannot have. I've listed them out so that I don't forget anything. You eliminate all dairy, all grains. This includes gluten-containing grains such as flour, and this also includes gluten-free grains like gluten-free oats and rice. Number 3, you can't have preservatives of any kind, so MSG, carrageenan, things that are often found in deli meat, prepackaged things like that, so you have to read the labels. Any refined processed oils, so I was allowed to have olive oil, coconut oil, but nothing like vegetable oil, canola oil. You cannot have any sugar, no processed sugar, no alcohol, and then no legumes. So this includes any sort of bean. This also includes peanuts and peanut butter. You are allowed to have other nuts like cashews, pecans, but you're not allowed to have legumes. The other thing to know is that you technically aren't supposed to introduce everything back in at once. This is especially true if you're trying to identify a specific cause, and this is if you're doing the program by the book. If you feel fine with all of the food groups and you're not really concerned about that, and you just kind of want to do a 30-day pulling everything out of your diet, then sure, on day 31 you can celebrate with a piece of chocolate cake. But the way that I've kind of seen it explained online is you want to introduce these things gradually so you can pinpoint what the issue is if there is an issue. If you introduce something like chocolate cake, you are introducing dairy and gluten and sugar and possibly refined oils all at the same time, which makes it really hard to figure out what's the thing that your body's not liking. So here are the 5 things that I have learned through doing Whole30. First of all, you become much more mindful of your habits, specifically in the area of snacking, what you eat, when you eat, all of those things. I was very quick to realize that anytime I was preparing a snack for my kids, preparing lunch for my kids, I was absent-mindedly grabbing a handful of like whatever crunchy thing I was giving them, just because it was easy to access, and I would catch myself and say, oh wait, I can't have that. The second thing is, don't assume that your problems are permanent. So again, this goes back to talking to my son and talking through him about why that I was doing this. But I had sort of just resolved to the fact that this was my life, and the way that my body works is that I get bloated every day in the evening and just have to endure this pain and live with it. And then somebody close to me in my life was like, maybe you should go to the doctor. And I remembered this quote, and I wasn't familiar with the woman who's credited for this quote. Her name is Anne Wigmore, and she was apparently a Lithuanian-American holistic health practitioner. She was a naturopath and a raw food advocate. But what she said was, the food you eat can be either the safest and most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. And I think that it can be really true. Like I said, this is a very positive video. It's not a restrictive thing. I'm on the other side of it now, and I am eating everything, and I'll talk about that. But I think that it is important to view our food that way, that our food can be medicine or it can be poison, and the first place that we should look is to our food. What are we ingesting? And I think that there are a lot of things that sometimes we don't think our diet has the power to change or affect positively or negatively, and possibly it can. So yeah, that's what I have personally learned through this journey, is that your food is very powerful and it can affect you in a lot of ways that maybe you don't realize. Number 3, eggs, potatoes, and sweet potatoes will save your life. Those are 3 things that are allowed that I pulled from a lot, especially during breakfast. One thing that has changed for me is every now and then I will have something sweet for breakfast, but I really don't like sweet stuff as much anymore because I've noticed that I feel much more unstable when I have something sweet for breakfast. So for me, I like having a potato or sweet potato with some sort of egg and then some sort of breakfast meat. And that has been something that has continued on after Whole30. I am probably like day 75 or something now from when I started, and I still really like that change. If it had not been for getting to eat eggs and for getting to eat potatoes, I would have struggled much harder. Number 4, there is added sugar everywhere, literally everywhere. And you know, some areas it's maybe warranted, and then some it's uncalled for. One thing that I will talk about is that on the program, you're technically not supposed to cheat at all. And if you do slip up and cheat, even on accident, you're supposed to start the 30 days over. I'm just going to be honest and tell you that I did not do that. I didn't cheat that much. Toward the end, I got more lax, but I really tried not to cheat. But if I was somewhere like a wedding where I was served something, I would eat it within reason, you know, with my best judgment. One of the things that I noticed as far as the added sugar was a salad that I was served at a wedding. It was a delicious salad. It had a fruit vinaigrette, it had some fruit on it, and then it had these candied nuts. And I just noticed, since I'd been removed from the sugar so long, the sweetness of the dressing and the sweetness of the nuts was too much. So I think it would have been a fine salad with just toasted almonds, maybe with a little bit of butter and salt, or pecans. But instead, they were rolled in this heavy coating of sugar, and I found it unnecessary. Okay, the 5th thing that I learned, and if you don't hear anything else from this video, hear this. How you feel trumps how much you weigh every single time. There is no motivator for me personally that is more powerful than how I feel. There's not a number on the scale that is more powerful and motivating to me than actually physically feeling better. Within a few days of starting this program, there was a noticeable difference in how I felt. Did I lose weight? Yes, I lost about 7 pounds. I'm not mad about it. I'm fine that I lost 7 pounds. I think I've gained maybe 2 of them back now that I've added everything back in. But that was never the main goal. The main goal was for me to feel better, and I have overwhelmingly, and I do. I've had a few episodes of the painful bloating here and there. Unfortunately, I still haven't been able to identify a single trigger. But I just have been trying to keep my meals closer to whole foods and trying to make sure that I don't consume a lot of dairy in one day. I do still kind of feel like that's something for me. So that being said, I will have a few more videos coming. I'm going to talk about my favorite recipes that I found and my favorite snacks. I'm also going to talk about what I would do differently. So there's quite a few things that when I do this again, because I do plan on doing this again, that I will do differently, again, in the quest to get to know my body better and just to take care of it better. All that being said, it was a really positive experience. I learned a lot from it, even though I didn't find that one trigger that I was hoping to find. I learned a lot. I was able to observe a lot. Like I said, there's things that I will do differently in the future, and I will share that. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments if you have any specific questions, and maybe I can address those in a future video. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. There will also be some Christmas content coming your way soon as we are rapidly approaching the holidays. So I hope that you will check that out. Thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.